Hey, what's up, guys? So today we have a special guest, Big E. We're going to be talking about recovery to basketball after a meniscus surgery, which is kind of huge. A lot of basketball players have meniscus injuries. Some have surgery, some don't have surgery. But today we're going to go in the perspective of going back to basketball after a meniscus surgery. So let's just jump onto it, Big E. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
What's going on? My name is Ekene Ibekwe. Playing professional basketball for about 14 years now. All over Europe, Germany, Spain, Australia, also Turkey. So, seasoned vet, been around the world, and I worked with Marco recently. I worked with Marco before for some other injuries, but most recently for my knee. Helped me come back, get back on the court with recovery with my meniscus. So man, just kind of here to just kind of shed light on my story and I'm feeling.
Yeah, man. Biggie, tell us about your meniscus injury. Like, how did it first get diagnosed? Tell us about, the first onset of it, because you had surgery and everything, but tell us a little more about when you found out something was wrong with your knee and everything.
Yeah, so at the end of the season, it was 2001 season. At the end of the season, my knee started swelling up in certain areas, and so I came back home, got an X-ray, MRI, and doctor basically told me that it's been kind of some wear and tear in my knee for some time, for all the years I was playing. So the best bet for me to continue my career, the best bet would to have a small surgery where I would be able to recover and basically finish out the rest of my career on a good note, rather than just like kind of like lagging. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, man. And then what he has is very common with a lot of basketball players. You get the wear and tear, meniscus, cartilage injuries. And one of the things he said is swelling. Sometimes you'll see like it might not hurt as much, but there might be swelling, and the swelling limits you from doing stuff and everything. So when was your surgery?
Surgery was in January.
January. And
January of this year.
Yeah. And then how'd you feel once you had the surgery? What were your thoughts? You're like, man, did you have any thoughts of like, am I going to be able to go back to basketball? Did you have any doubt or anything like that?
No, I had no doubt that I was going to go back to basketball. I knew I was going to go back to basketball, but with me, it was basically just the time. My doctor was saying that I'll be back in a certain amount of weeks or so. But me, I felt that, and I know how I am, like I really want to make sure things are right. So I really kind of took my time and really did the work, to really get back on the court and start feeling comfortable again.
Yeah. No, for sure. And that's kind of one of the things that we see that all the time. They'll tell you like, hey, after this meniscus surgery or this little cleanup, you'll be back on the court in like 3 months. But sometimes, or 2 months, they try to kind of accelerate the process. They say, but it takes a little bit longer, like, like you said. What are some of the kind of obstacles that you went through when you had the surgery? Not when you had the surgery, but the recovery process. Was there any like big obstacles you had to face, or any hard parts?
I mean, with being as an athlete, you're not on the court. You see guys that you play with or against, and they're on the court. He's like, damn, you feel like be out there. So kind of, I think naturally, it kind of plays with your mind. But with me, I've been in a situation before where I've had another surgery before, and I kind of been through the whole process of how you feel while you're out, when you're sitting out, and that's what made me just even go harder on my rehab. Because I knew I was gonna get back, but I just kind of used my rehab to just block that out and just focus on my body. And at the end of the day, I also was focusing on like my entire body as far as how I would feel for these next coming years. And I'm basically just setting myself up.
No, for sure, man. I totally 100% agree. You have to, I think I like what you said about listening to your body, kind of really honing in the process and blocking out the noise, because you'll see a lot of people like, oh man, I need to get back on the court. And I think that's what kind of messes up people's recovery. They go back too fast, when they're not ready. Because, and I think we mentioned this before offline, but I tell people all the time, like, you'll be ready, like after your meniscus surgery, you were walking around fine and everything, but there's a difference between, being functional and being ready to get back onto the basketball court. As we talked about that, what would you say, what was the hardest part to get back onto the court? Like, what was it? A movement? Was it a jump? Was it a cutting? Was it, what kind of not blocked you, but had the most difficult time getting over that hurdle? Because a lot of people after surgery, they're scared to jump or they're scared to, stop. What was your hurdle during the rehab process?
Just knowing that my leg was strong enough to land properly, to explode, you know what I mean? Just those things that you might not think of when you're actually playing the game, but when you're out, you're injured, and you're rehabbing, like it kind of hits you like, okay, my body needs to be strong enough to, after I grab a rebound, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or even just to be able to explode, or even to be able to, post somebody up, just to contact, you know what I mean? Or set a screen, little things like that, So those were some of the things that were on my mind, just basically how my leg would react to these certain movements on the court. You know what I
mean? Yeah. And then, so would you say, was it more of a confidence issue or also a strength, or kind of both?
At the end of the day, it's kind of just like you basically, to me, I've been playing for some time now. And to me, basically, like, rehab is just basically making your mind get back in tune with your body. You know what I mean?
I like that.
That's what it is. You know what I mean? And with that means you mentally being strong enough to know that your leg is okay for this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's how I see it. So once your mind and your body gets on the same page, then you're gonna be all right. You know what I mean? It's definitely not an overnight thing. It'll take some time, but it'll come if you keep going at it.
No, for sure. 100% agree with that, because and it's also kind of twofold. Like you said, they have to match with each other, because sometimes I've seen some people when their mind, they're like, oh, I think I'm ready, but their body's not ready at all. And then vice versa, their body's ready, but they're scared to go back. So you want to have that perfect balance. And once you make that perfect balance, like you said, it's game over. Then exactly. And it just sets you up for success down the line. Talking about the mind and body, are there any things that you use or you recommend for any athlete going through kind of like it's big surgery, like a meniscus surgery, and knee, especially with knees with basketball players, that's like one of the most important joints for any basketball player, and the most injured joint. What do you recommend, or what have you found useful to really kind of connect the mind and the body the way you kind of do? Because you have a good job. I feel like you do a good job of just understanding your body. If something's off, you're like, okay, this is off. Like, what kind of helped you get to that process? Because you probably weren't doing that when you fresh out of college and stuff like that, right?
No, I mean, with listening with listening to your body, you just know how you feel. When something's wrong. You know what I mean? When you're younger, it's like, okay, well, it's not broken, then I'm gonna keep going. You know what I mean? I feel pain, but you'll fight through it. But as you get older, you really listen to your body, and if something's off, then you gotta just dial it back. You know what I mean? You really have to know what you need to do. If you feel pain in any workout or anything, you should stop and stretch, relax, stretch, or even I ice a lot. You know what I mean? I ice my knees a lot. That's one thing that I really do. Yeah, but I think it all comes down to just knowing your body, knowing yourself. And once you get that intact in your mind, then you'll know which moves you have to make to be able to get to where we need to get. So you won't burn yourself out.
No, 100%, 100%. I tell all young athletes, like, the sooner you learn more about your body, I think the more successful career you're going to have, because at the end of the day, the best ability is availability. So meaning being able to play is better. You could be the best player, but if you're always hurt, there's no point. And it comes down to listening to your body, because a lot of these injuries are kind of like overuse injuries. So going back to your knee injury, did you notice down the line, like, something was off my knee the entire time? Or was there a particular instant, like, did you use the listening to your body for your original knee injury? What do you say?
Yeah, so it was kind of a buildup. You know what I mean? I had some swelling in my knee. I told my coach about it. I ended up actually missed the last couple of games of the season. I kind of shut it down. And yeah, so I listened to my body. Started swelling, and yes, that's when I just took the initiative to, and just kind of look into it. And then I linked up with Dr. Thomas at BCO, and he told me it would be a good thing to just kind of take care of it now, and then so you won't have to worry about it later. I haven't had any knee problems, but wear and tear builds up. Definitely builds up in my left knee. So
Yeah, no, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. It was so basically it was just just some swelling, and then I just hopped on it and try to figure out what was going on.
No, for sure. That swelling is like one of the warning signs, because some people would just be like, hey, let me just ice it and it'll go away, then keep on going. Oh, let me just keep on icing, I'll play through it. But it's good that you
So I did that. So I was icing it, and then I was going back, and then after a while, after a little while, I was like, okay, you know what, I'm just going. It's not really, the inflammation not really going down. Let me see what's up, what's going on. So that's when I took the initiative to get some exams and then figure out what to do from there.
Yeah, and that's also another great point. It's like, I tell athletes, you got to be your own activist, or like your own person that advocate for yourself. Like, oh, you know what, I need to get it checked out. Because a lot of people, sometimes coaches are like, hey, just rest it, it'll go away, or rest is like the magic pill for a lot of these injuries. But sometimes they're not. They have to get further investigation.
Right.
But going back to now, you're pretty much playing basketball. I saw that dunk that you had in the Drew League.
Yeah.
Check it out if you guys haven't. We'll post it on there. But what are you limited now in? Or do you feel like you're 100% your knee? Like, how confident are you with your knee now?
I'm confident in my knee. It's the thing with basketball now is just kind of just the rhythm itself of the game, the actual game. As far as exploding, doing certain moves, dunking, jumping, lateral movements. I'm good on that. Now it's just the rhythm part when it comes to basketball. And been playing the past 3-4 weekends in the Drew League, so I'm right where I need to be.
Awesome, man. And then what would you say was the most helpful part of the rehab process? Like, what did you say? Like, hey, you know what? This is kind of like the most important thing, or, for any other people that are listening in, like, what have you found the most helpful throughout this rehab journey?
No, just, when you working with you kind of just, ask you questions about certain movements. Why are we doing this? What am I trying to get with this workout? And you really explain to me, why this is needed and what we're doing it for. Because we did something different every time we linked up. So that was definitely helpful. And then also taking that and then doing it on my own. Continuing what I was doing with you and just kind of just doing it on my own. And so that was helpful.
Awesome, man. And then what do you have for advice for, anyone that's going through this meniscus surgery? Because I mean, it's a very common surgery that you had.
Right.
A lot of people have cleanups. Lonzo Ball had a cleanup, but his didn't go so well. He hasn't gone back to the court. James Wiseman had a cleanup. They had 2 cleanups, and he's barely getting back on the court. So I mean, sometimes it's a quick recovery, other times it's a longer recovery. And then, like you said, the surgeon said that you'll be back on the court in 3 months, but yours took a little longer,
Yeah, yeah.
So what advice do you have for people dealing with that recovery with the meniscus cleanup?
I would just say to listen to your body. That's very important. That's the most important thing, is to listen to your body. You kind of got to know how you feel, and let your you kind of got to put your pride and your ego to the side. As athletes, we kind of more or less see ourselves as like warriors and stuff like that, which we are. But it's like at the end of the day, it's like you don't want to be in a position where you feel like you're feeling good, but then you set yourself back. When you're supposed to be going through a gradual process of getting better.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a marathon. For me, it's a marathon when you in terms of just doing what you need to do to get back on the court. It's not going to happen overnight. So listening to your body and knowing the process that you need to take in doing so.
Nice, man. I love what you said. It's the marathon, just like Nipsey Hussle said. No, I'm kidding, but you gotta continue.
For real.
Yeah, you gotta continue going. It's not like, okay, once you're done, because I think I tell people, and you could probably attest to it, you're still doing technically rehab. You're still working out pretty intense, your legs, right? Like you're not stopping even though you're back onto the court.
Right. So you're right. So I'm back on the court, but I'm still doing the things that I need to do. You know what I mean? It just doesn't just stop. I'm still doing my quad workouts. My laterals with the bands, my bridges, all types of stuff. You know what I mean? So and I find time at least like I said, if I had a game, I would do it that morning of the game, do my workouts. You know what I mean, to prepare myself for the game. So yeah, you still got to do those things to better yourself on the court.
Awesome, man. So now to kind of finish it up, I mean, you're a seasoned vet. I mean, you're the same age as LeBron. You played with LeBron. So what's the next steps? How many more years you got in you, Biggie? And where are you playing?
I always wanted to play until I was 40. I just turned 37 in July, and so obviously I got I think I got some years left. But it's all on how I feel. If I feel like I can continue to play at a high level even past 40, then I'll look into that. But yeah, my goal was always to play until I'm 40. And as of right now, I'm looking for my agent is looking out for some teams, shopping me around to see what's available out there that makes sense.
Awesome, man. And then just to finish it off, we like to finish off with the podcast with a fun little question. What's your favorite basketball memory as a player? Like, maybe you hitting a game-winning shot, dunking on someone, getting crossed over, if that's a good memory of yours. What's your favorite memory?
Man, I got a lot. I think my favorite, I got two.
Yeah.
So making the qualifying for the Olympics, the first time the Nigerian national team, which I played for in 2012 and 2016. But in 2012, we qualified to make it to the Olympics for the first time in London, the London Olympics. That moment, that was a memorable moment, and also hitting a game-winning shot to win a championship. When I played in the NBL, in the Australian League, playing with the New Zealand Breakers, that was a moment for me. Hitting a game-winning shot to win the championship. That's something that I'm remember forever. And I definitely showed my son, but I'm gonna definitely bring it up to him even more as he gets older. Let him know where you come from. What pedigree you're from.
Yeah, hell yeah, that's awesome, man. You had the Mamba mentality on that shot, huh?
I really did. I thought it was Kobe for a second.
Damn, awesome, man, Biggie. Well, thanks for hopping on, man. It was a pleasure to talk to you, and hopefully people learned a lot from this recovery, because it's a big thing. You know, a lot of people go through this recovery and sometimes feel alone. They're like, you know what, no one's gone through this recovery, and it's good to see a perspective from someone that's actually went through the recovery, as opposed to, you know, there's so much information I could tell you, like, hey, you're going to do this, but it's a different experience when you get it from someone that actually went through it and got back to the court.
Right. And I would say, you know, people that are going through injuries and things like that, you know, it could, your mind can certainly go into certain places, but, you know, just be mindful to just have positive energy, positive people around you, you know, that's supporting you, you know, through your journey to get back on the court. That's very important. You never want to like isolate yourself, feeling down on yourself, you know, because injuries are a part of the game, you know, and you're just gonna have to find it in yourself to basically to see how tough you are, and getting back on the court, you know, or getting back to where you need to be. But yeah, just find the positivity around you that'll definitely make the whole process a lot smoother.
Awesome, man. All right, Biggie, I don't want to keep you longer, but it was a pleasure. And then hopefully we see you on the court soon, and then check him out at the Drew League. Hopefully he plays against Paul George or someone when it comes up, right?
But yeah, that's right.
Yeah. All right, man. Take care.